All right, reading sesh begins. This is patch notes for 1.10. This is the patch that comes out on the 25th. This is Tuesday after you guys are seeing this on stream, of course, but in a video as well. Hello, champions. Things that are coming. New hero, Eden. New battle pass, ranked mode split and adjustments. There's a new ranked split starting. New world shift. A bunch of new items and the loadout builder, the item builder thingy. So we're gonna jump right in. Eden, I posted an Eden video today that you guys can go look at if you guys have not seen it yet. Otherwise, I think you guys will probably see more gameplay of her, either from myself or other streamers throughout the weekend, because we get to stream testing for a bit this weekend. So yeah. So that's pretty epic. Moving on, her kit's cool. She's a stance switching ADC. Moving on, world shift frostfall. So our current world shift is cataclysm. We're gonna get another one. This will be added to the rotation. So every match will be a 50-50 of getting either variant. These are no longer tied to the Shaper. Shaper gives a different buff depending on which world shift you have. So if you have world shift Cataclysm, Shaper will do the same thing it does now, which is spawn seedlings in every lane. But if you have world shift Frostfall, Shaper will do something slightly different. So it is a 50-50 every game. Shaper no longer needs to be killed for World Shift to start. World Shift now triggers automatically at 14 minutes in normal games. Randomly 50-50 whether you get Frostfall or Cataclysm. The Shaper spawns at 15 minutes, either as Frost or Cataclysm variant, depending on which World Shift you got. This is like some screenshots, right, of the Frostfall World Shift. A bunch of ice and shit spawns on the map. It's fine. I've only played, I think, one game with this as my world shift. I played 3 games of testing last night to get some Eden content, and 2 of them were Cataclysm. So I think I've only played 1 game with this. I thought it was fine. I would need to play more to have a stronger opinion. Map mechanics, blah, blah, blah. Frost Shaper. Frost Shaper has 12 stacks of damage reduction. Fuck. When a hero damages the Shaper, he loses a stacks. Okay. Instead of spawning seedlings in the lane like Cataclysm Shaper, Frost Shaper gives everyone a buff. On damaging heroes or minions, you apply a 10% slow. On damaging towers, slow their attack speed by 40%. I think this is cancerous, and I would love to know what this feels like in a game. Again, the one game I played with World Shift Frost on testing was a bad game. It was a game that I think got FF'd at freaking 17 minutes because there was a pretty like game-breaking bug on the version of testing we were playing last night, and this sounds absolutely cancerous. I have no idea. Like this, you get if you guys are Smite players, you just get fucking frost fucking hammer. What is that shit called? Just get fucking the frost hammer, and you get Emperor's armor for 2 minutes. And keep in mind, this is 2.5 if you have a Fangtooth, right? This is 2.5 minutes if you have a Fangtooth. This sounds cancerous. I just, dude, just for starters, we're giving ADCs a 10% movement speed slow when they auto people. Like, right, bro. Funny. And we're also slow at tower attack speed by 40%. Like, yikes, man. This sounds absolutely cancerous. Loadout builder, TLDR. You can make loadouts and you can share them publicly. Other people can find your loadouts. You can, like, if you put on auto buy, it'll buy your loadout items. It's cool. It's very similar to like Deadlock's system of making builds, and then you make them public, and then other people can use your builds. It's very epic. Julio. Ranked news. Ranked split is ending on Tuesday. Sereth skin is the reward. We'll see exactly what these variants look like of it. Are the variants in here? Oh, they're not. I'm assuming it'll be the same as the Borogesh skin, where there will be different chromas for this, depending on what rank you got. You'll be set 5 divisions back. Internal MMR will also be reset. Interesting. Additionally, 1.10 introduces tier skipping, the first step towards our more robust placement system. After the split, if your performance stands out when promoting to the next division, the system may allow you to skip a division or 2 and jump straight up to a higher rank, and skip up to 2 divisions at once until Gold 1. Tier skipping is not possible past Gold 1. I've not seen this before. I missed this part. Next rank split runs till February 23rd. Very cool. Rank skipping is good. Why we would ever stop rank skipping at Gold 1 is this is a mystery. Why would you stop rank skipping? Like, why shouldn't I be able to rank skip past Gold? Like, my MMR starts at Gold. Like, why would I not be able to rank skip past Gold? I don't. This is really goofy to me. The rest of this seems fine. Like, rank skipping is good. I don't know why you would ever cut off rank skipping, but rank skipping is good. New items. There's a fuck ton of new items that I'm assuming are down here somewhere. We'll get into them when we get there. Store news. Severog skin. This is a legendary skin. New ability, VFX, sound effects, new recall, jump pad animation. Very cool. New everything on this Sev skin. Sparrow skin, an epic skin, no VFX on this one. Same with Bang Mao skin, no VFX, no sound effects. Bummer. I'm glad that at least one of these has this, but especially, again, after we got that Gideon and the Morn skin that both came out with no VFX, it is unfortunate to me to see this, where these don't have VFX. Yin also gets a skin to go along with it. Countess gets a recolor. Very cool. Eden skin. Very cool. A couple of bundles for all the different shit coming out. Opal store. Grand Champ Crunch. This is a recolor of Fight Night. By popular demand, Oculin Gideon now includes altered voice lines, which will play whenever the skin is equipped. This change applies to all existing owners as well as future purchases. Interesting. I wonder what this sounds like. I wonder if they just put Gideon's voice lines through, like, a distorter. I'm really curious. Again, no VFX on this skin is still a big miss. Sound effects, again, if they just like put his normal voice lines through a distorter, I think that's going to be really goofy. I will have to see what this sounds like in game. New battle pass, bunch of shit in a battle pass, very cool. All these skins are what we saw up top, so Vault Pass, FSR, I don't know what this is. Frame generation. Okay. Localization, we're expanding the offer of available languages with Mandarin, Chinese, and Korean. Both in the game and announcer voices. So there's more announcer voices. Nitro changes. Nitro, too similar to standard. Reduce average match time to approximately 15 minutes. Reduce the number of matches that go beyond 20. Interesting. They're speeding up Nitro. Minion waves spawn faster. Okay. Waves now contain 2 melees and 2 ranged minions. Okay. Minions are tankier. Timers all reduced. Interesting. I'll have to try some of this. I'll have to play a Nitro game to see how this feels, if they're just speeding everything up. What up, Ritter? Pingwheel update. Back by popular demand. Good job. Wow, this isn't quite why it's back. This is back because of the first event, right? Is replacing stand and fight on the comms wheel. No more stand and fight. What will we do? Replacements. Never surrenders being replaced with thanks. Good. Nice. That's big. This is big. Cooldowns has been renamed status. Gateway status is replaced by out of mana. Attack Shaper replaces Attack River buff. Attack River buff is now under more, where Shaper used to be. Please ward here and enemy ward here have been moved under more. They didn't. Where's the question mark ping? There's a question mark ping now. There's a question mark ping. Where's good job? Good job is like left, right, up is good job. Left, right, right is a question mark ping. All right. What do you think of the patch so far? Again, we basically just hit skins. That's about it so far. Now we're getting into real shit. All right. Sit up for items. All right. Moving into the items. Items breakdown. So again, I played like 3 games of testing last night on the content creator branch to get some Eden gameplay, and that's it. So I've only played like 3 Eden games on testing. That's all that I've played. So I don't know all of the items. I've not played with all of them. Just so you guys know. Crests. So all crests got a new evolution. Along with that, there's a bunch of new items. Crests. Carry crest gets Exodus. This is like a little Howie boop, is essentially what this is. It doesn't boop yourself. It just boops the enemies, does damage, micro stuns them, pushes them away. They take a little more damage from you for 1 second. This is good against things that you can interrupt. Decent against like Boris. It's decent against like Kira, right? So that you can interrupt the Kira ult. Seems okay to me. Pacifier is still broken, so you know it's hard to not go passy. Abyssal Dart. This is the Assassin Crest upgrade. This is Snowball. If you guys are familiar with League of Legends, this is Snowball. It's kind of epic. Gravitum. This is the Warrior Crest, the Fighter Crest one. So you shoot out a little bolt, and this bolt, it does damage, and it grounds the first enemy hero hit. So this will, like if a Wukong is on his cloud, right, if he's cloud walking, it will stop the cloud walk, and it will make it so that he can't use other mobility tools for 2 seconds. Ground is a good CC. I've been asking for something akin to Grounded in Pred for a long time. I think it's a really good CC to put in the game. It just adds a lot of counterplay to things like Wukong or Yuri, these very mobile characters where Pred doesn't really have an answer to a lot of them. Grounding is a very good CC to add to the game. If you guys are Smite players, Grounded in League is Crippled in Smite. They're basically the same. What up, Twill? Void Gazer. This is the Magician Crest upgrade. So you fire up a projectile of Void Miasma that pierces non-heroes. It does damage. It applies a slow. Enemies hit take 12% more damage from you. Projectile stops upon hitting a hero. I think this one's pretty bad. This one, it lets you one-shot people, I guess, or a little earlier. Like on a character like Bellica, maybe this is technically more damage than Obelisk. Where, you know, like you get this online at, level 8, you have 1 item. Maybe this allows you to just one-shot somebody early in the game versus, on Bellica, you don't normally one-shot people to like 3 or 4 items, like, actually 100 to 0 them. Maybe this lets you do that. I don't know. I think this one seems pretty bad to me. Occult Crest gets Winter's Fury. Release a sphere of icy energy. That expands 800 units over 3 seconds. This is like half of ranged auto range. Enemy units that enter it receive damage. They receive a slow. Additionally, enemies hit by it take 10% more magic damage for 3 seconds. This just seems like a significantly better version of this. These do basically the same thing. This one just seems way better. I'm not gonna lie. So, I don't know. This seems like, generally speaking, I would say this is as good as Tempest. Tempest is like not a super awesome crest at the moment, so this seems as good as Tempest. If you're going, like, if you're playing Quang or Aurora, right? It seems pretty good. Pygmy Dust. Target yourself or another hero. This is the support crest upgrade. Target yourself for another hero to shrink them. While shrunken, they gain move speed. Enemy heroes are slowed and deal less damage for the duration instead. So if you hit this, if you hit an ally with this, it shrinks them and makes them fast. If you hit an enemy with this, it exhausts. It's just exhaust from League of Legends. Seems fine. Like 25% less damage is pretty good. You hit like a Boris with this or like a Sereth with this, it seems pretty good to me. Fluorescence. This is the tank support crest. You place down a bouncy thingy. If you jump on it, you go in the air. It lasts for 2 minutes. Once it has been bounced on once, it will be destroyed after 10 seconds. Each hero can only bounce on the star shroom once every 5 seconds. This is basically a geyser. You get to basically place a geyser. That's pretty much what this does. It's cool. Vertical mobility, kind of epic, but you just get to place a geyser. Earth Spirit. This is the tank crest upgrade. You turn into a rock and you roll forward. You become CC immune. You roll forward, and when you hit somebody, you stun them and do some damage. I think this crest is cool. I will say I played against this on test server yesterday, and I found this to be incredibly unreadable. When an enemy was using this, I had no idea what they were doing. I could not tell. Yeah, I had no idea what was happening when they clicked this button. I thought it was really odd. You'll probably hear back after the weekend, Ritter. Congrats, though. Good luck, dog. Tier 1 items, they added some Tier 1, Tier 2 items. This kind of stuff is fine. These are all good. Getting into Tier 3 items, real items. Cursed Ring. So this is the first of the cursed items. Cursed items are items that have a pretty big upside, but also a pretty big downside. You can only own one cursed item at a time. This is a carry item. It gives power, attack speed. It increases your total attack speed by 1.4x, right? So by 40% increased. But your basic attacks do 35% less damage. It increases the attacks per second cap. You can only have one cursed item at a time. It's interesting. I don't think this will be good. It will be very funny when you get this to work. Necrosis. This is a ult item for ADCs, I guess. I don't know who else you're building this on other than ADCs. It's power, attack speed, crit, but gain 25 ult haste, and your ult does more damage. This is like a Murdoch item, I guess. Maybe you buy this on like Kira. If you're ult dog on Kira, maybe this is what you buy. I don't know. Ruination. This one seems really good. Power crit. Your next auto attack. So basically, when this is off cooldown, your next auto attack applies a bleed to an enemy. That bleed burns their mana and does damage based on the mana that it's burning. And then hitting that enemy with an ability will extend that bleed. If that makes sense. If the bleed falls off of them, you have to wait for the item to come off cooldown for you to start that bleed again. Scattershot. This is again, these are the carry items. This is when you auto attack something, it summons 2 extra little balls, and those balls hit enemies, and they do damage. They can crit, they can lifesteal, they apply on hits. This one seems pretty good to me. This one is kind of just like Lightning Hawk, where it has really good base stats. I think this one will be quite good. The rest of these, I think Ruination on maybe a character like Twin Blast could be pretty good. Scattershot, I think, will be good on pretty much every ADC. Necrosis, again, maybe this is like a Kira item. I'm honestly not sure. Cursed Ring will be funny, but I don't think will be good. Bell ult scale against Eden. Yes, it scales missing HP damage. It does execute damage to Eden. Alternator. So moving into assassin items. This isn't a two-part item. This is an upgradable item. Decent base stats for the cost. Your alternate ability, so your right-click ability, does 12% more damage upon damaging an enemy with your alternate. Upon reaching, you gain a stack. Upon reaching 20 stacks, return to base to evolve it. The evolved version keeps the 12% bonus damage, but also when you use your right click, it reduces the current cooldown of your other basic abilities by 12%. So this is like a slightly better version of Ashbringer, kind of, once you get it evolved. I think the primary hero you'll see this on is Kallari. I think this is pretty nuts on Kallari. I saw someone built this on Kira against me in one of the testing games that we played. I feel like that can't be worth it. Like, 12% more damage seems decent, but it's like the base stats are just okay. This is like going Malady first, right? Like, it's okay, but this also doesn't give you wave clear, so is it worth it? I don't think so on Kira. Kallari, this seems really nuts. Wraith, I think this is probably okay on. I'm honestly not sure how good this will be on Wraith. But Kallari, I don't think you'll build this on Feng Mao or Yuri, but on Kallari it'll be nuts. ADCs, maybe. Has some potential. Manta Scythe, this is the other assassin item. Power, pen, attack speed, lifesteal. Pretty low base stats, but also pretty cheap. Your autos do double damage to minions and small monsters. Additionally, you gain 0.5 physical power every time you kill a siege minion or a camp leader. And then while within 2,500 units of an enemy unit, which is like way more than auto range, this is very far. If they don't have an allied unit within 800 units, so if they're ISO'd, you deal 15% more damage to them. This one seems pretty good to me, like especially for Feng Mao. But for Feng Mao, Kallari, Yuri, I don't know. This one seems pretty good. Pretty solid base stats. Infinitely scaling physical power. I don't know. Seems good. Does it work in Revolt? This, my guess would be no. Because the way that this ISO, all the other ISOs in this game, Senpai, work based on how many targets are being hit, right? If you think of all of the ISO augments, right? Bell Bomb, Countess right click, Feng Mao E are all based on targets hit. So not based on distance. This is based on distance. I would imagine that Revolt doesn't technically count you as being like, 1,000 units away from someone, right? I'm assuming it still is counted in actual distance. Solstice fighter items. Solstice, we finally get a power double armor item. Obviously no HP, but 40 power, 30 fizz armor, and 25 magic armor all on one item. The first passive is Pendulum, gain 25 stacks each second up to a max of 100. Takedowns grant you 100 immediately. Your next basic attack consumes all of your pendulum stacks. So, if you've been waiting 4 seconds, this is 100, dealing 10 physical damage, increasing by 0 to 60% based on stacks. If it's activated while at 100 stacks, the damage is increased by 2.25x. Heal for a 1.5x the damage dealt by this effect. So there's a lot of fucking words here, right? Basically, all you need to know is your first auto attack that you throw out in a fight is going to be doing fucking What is this? Quick math. This is 60 times 2. This is that's 120. Plus another quarter. This is 135% physical power. Your first auto does an extra 135% physical power, and you heal for 1.5x that. So, pretty gross. So it's Gaia Greaves, but it heals you. Yeah, kind of. This is fairly similar to Gaia Greaves. But it heals you. It does less damage fully stacked. Like Gaia Greaves, I don't know what the scaling on Gaia Greaves is, but it does less damage fully stacked. But yeah, it's actually pretty similar. Volcanica. This one's pretty interesting. So this is a power HP item. When you use an ability, a basic ability, you reduce your other basic ability cooldowns by 1 second. When you use your ult, you reduce your current basic ability cooldowns by 2 seconds. It's less effective for stance switching heroes. Okay, who cares? This one seems like good on Crunch. I'm not sure who else you're building this on. Maybe you build this on like Bale, because he has like ridiculously long cooldowns. Maybe it's something you would build on Bale. Crunch, it seems really good. Xeris, even, this seems pretty good. So I don't know. We'll see. This one is an interesting item because it's got pretty solid base stats on it, actually. So I'm curious if this ends up being good. Visar Carapace, again, another power HP haste item. Shell Shock, basic attacks and abilities that hits enemy heroes. Apply a stack of Scorn once per ability. Upon applying 3, activate Shell Smash. Shell Smash deals damage based on your level to the enemy hero, and you gain a shield based on your max HP. This one seems really fucking good to me. Like, you just walk up to somebody and you hit them with 3 autos, and you get a 10% max HP shield. It's a 12-second cooldown, but, like, you can definitely get this twice in a fight. So if you get this twice in a fight, you're doing an extra 400 damage, and you're gaining a 160 plus 20% max HP shield, which seems pretty good to me. This one, and it's got solid base stats on it. This one seems quite good. Mage items. Amulet of Chaos, 85 power, 12 pen. Takedowns reduce your current basic ability cooldowns by 60% and restore 30% of your missing mana. This one seems fine. I think they pussied out a little bit on making this Spear of Deso from Smite. I think making this flat CDR would have been cooler, just personally. The percent CDR makes it slightly better for some really long cooldowns like Gideon Portal, but I think generally speaking, the flat CDR would be cooler. Base stats are fine. You might be able to slam this second if you really think you want this. I think, generally speaking, my guess is that Wraith Leggings just outpaces this considerably. That's just my guess, is that you would almost never go this for 85 power and 12 pen versus Wraith Leggings for 95 power, 10 pen. Plus bonus damage. Like, this isn't a damage dealing effect, right? So, like, slamming this first or second feels pretty bad. This is like a multi-kill effect that you would want to run in, like, a team fight. Like, maybe you run this on Rena early game, because if you get a kill, you get your cooldowns back, which is pretty big on a character like Rena. I don't know. Claw of Hermes. This is kind of like a bruiser item. So this is another mana burn item. Against melee heroes, you drain mana. Against ranged heroes, it drains a little more. It deals true damage based on mana being drained. If you're a ranged hero, mana burn is at 50% effectiveness. Abilities deal additional magic damage based on the target's missing mana. So this is one of those that, like, on a character like Bellica, this will be pretty nuts, I think. Outside of Bellica, I think this will be really annoying to play against in the off lane. I don't think in mid lane you'll see this a whole lot. Again, on Bell, for sure you will see this. On anyone else, are you actually doing this? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe if you're playing like Twin Blast mid or something, you could do this. I just don't think it's worth it. on most mages. But maybe Prophecy Typhoon. There's a quiver item that we'll go over. Maybe Prophecy Typhoon, like maybe auto attack mages will be a little better this patch. Goshen Greaves. So this is like a bruiser item. It gives you a double jump, and then after you double jump, you slam down, and it does damage and slows people. This one's pretty cool. I think this is a funny little item. You'll probably build this on like Aurora Quang. This is like a decent bruiser item for like any kind of frontlining magical character. You could build this on like Sevarog probably, and it'd be fine. Gaining access to a double jump is a pretty big deal. So the fact that it does damage is kind of cherry on top. Life Core. This one also seems pretty good. So this one has very respectable base stats for how cheap it is, right? It's only 2,900. And this is basically when you hit enemies, you gain charges based on the damage dealt. It's kind of like Lunaria. You gain charges based on the damage dealt. And then once you hit 100 charges, you get a healing wisp. And that wisp goes to one of your allied heroes, and it heals them. And the heal is ginormous, right? So 100 base heal plus 50% magic power. That's a lot of healing. If you do this on a character where you can very reliably proc this, like something like Rena or Gadget, I think this will be pretty gross. I do think that building this on a support is going to be a little bit harder to do. You might be able to get away with it on Decker, but most supports will not actually stack this fast enough for it to be useful. But on mages, I think this actually could be a pretty good item. Orion. This is Old Prophecy. Decent base stats. You gain attack speed based on your ability haste. This is Old Prophecy passive that they're finally bringing back. The second passive, upon basic attack or on hit attack, increase your damage dealt to the target by 1.5x. This is worded really weird. I did not test this on the test servers. I'm not sure exactly how this works. If you hit somebody and apply an on hit, do you get 2 stacks? I have no idea. If you do, this is really good. If you don't, this is probably pretty bad. So yeah, it really just depends on, this is worded really oddly. Won't this go hard on auto attack Bell? Again, it depends how exactly it works, IO. Dude, can we just not do this for one day, dude? Like, why? Can you stop? Like, can you just not be a weirdo for 5 minutes? Anyway, yes, it depends how this procs. Does this count as an on hit? If this counts as an on hit, then you're not getting 1.5% damage increase per Bellica bullet, right? You're getting 0.5% damage increase. How does this proc? Again, this, right? Basic attacks and on hits, right? If you're Bellica with Prophecy, this would make me think that you get 6 stacks per auto, right? Because you get 3 for your basic attack and 3 for your on hit. Really odd. I don't know exactly how this works. I would have to do some testing. Spectral Schematics. This one seems really good for characters like Aurora Quang. When you immobilize an enemy unit, it deals damage based on their current HP. Pretty solid bruiser stats. You might be able to go this on something like Steel. If like AP Bruiser Steel becomes a thing, you'll probably buy this. Otherwise, it'll probably be Aurora Quang. Seems decent to me. Devotion, another kind of bruiser item. Your heals and shields are stronger when used on allies that are below 40%. Upon taking magic damage, if the incoming damage is greater than 120, reduce it by 20%. This item seems really good to me. This item seems really, really good to me. This alone is late game, right? So, like, against most mages, right? Like, everything except maybe, like, Gadget, Rena, like, pretty much all mages' abilities are doing more than 120 per hit, right? Even most of the multi-hit abilities are doing more than 120 per hit, right? Outside of, like, Gadget. Gadget right-click, Rena Q. Pretty much all of these are doing 120 or more. And this basically says if something does more than 120 damage to you, you gain 20% damage mitigation against it. So, like, the late game, this is pretty much just gain 20% magic damage mitigation, which is pretty insane. Again, not every game will it read quite that, but like if the enemy mid laner is like Gideon, yeah, dude, you just get 20% damage mitigation against that guy, right? Your heals and shields are a little stronger. This does not matter. Base stats on this are fine. It doesn't have HP, but it's cheap. Yeah, it's cheap. It's 2,500, 40 power, 35 magic armor, heal and shield power. Low key, this isn't a terrible stat on most offlaners. Mana regen, who cares? I don't know, man. 20% damage mit seems like a lot against essentially that you get essentially permanently against mages late game. So, yeah, seems good to me. Enra's Blessing is another bruiser item. Well, this one's kind of a support item. Are we in the support? Are we supposed to be in the support category? I think we are supposed to be in the support category. I'm pretty sure this is technically supposed to be a support item. So this one is like decent base stats. Basically, when you stand next to a hero, like if one of your allies gets CC'd, they just get a shield. If you guys have played Smite, this is just heroism, except this cool little fancy thing that they put in at the end, I think is really gross. Cooldown per target. Right. Cooldown per target. Again, so this is just heroism. If someone near you, 1,000 units, this is 2/3 of auto range. So you got to be like fairly close to somebody. They get a 50 plus 30% magic power plus 8% health shield. Like, this is pretty good. That's a pretty good shield. And you can give this to all of your allies, which is disgusting. Again, in Smite, heroism is actually a much larger shield, but the cooldown is not per target. It's like a 10-second cooldown period, and it prioritizes the lowest HP ally. So if multiple of your allies get hit by a CC at the exact same time, then it will prioritize the lowest HP one. This one, enemy Bellica walks into your team, hits a 5-man knockup, and your 4 allies get a 350 HP shield, and you can tell Bellica to go fuck herself, right? That's pretty much it. Lux Forge Lantern, Power HP Haste. This is like a physical support item. Takedowns and ward kills, right? So just destroying wards. Permanently grant +2 physical power up to 30. While out of combat, you gain move speed. So theoretically, this is a 60 power, 200 HP, 15 haste item for 2,400 gold, which is insane. But you have to stack this shit up. It's goofy. If you're playing Xeris or Grux support, you'll probably build this because why not? Is this something you're gonna build on like junglers? Probably not. Like realistically, this isn't a damage. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. This isn't a damage dealing passive, so like you're not really gonna run this on a jungler. It's not really worth it. It doesn't help you clear the jungle. It doesn't, that kind of thing. You could try and do it. Maybe you go this third item and try and get stacks or something, just running around the map to deward. I don't know, but yeah, this is a funny little item. Xenia, so another support item. This is when you walk next to an ally, right? So 150 units is really close. You basically got to touch them. If you go touch one of your allies, they get a shield based on your max HP for 4 seconds. Very cool. Subsequent applications to the same hero within 10 seconds are 50% effective. I don't know why this says this. Like, what? One of these numbers is incorrect. One of these numbers is wrong. I'm almost sure of it. One of these numbers has to be incorrect. But again, basically you go slap your ally on the ass, you give him a shield based on your max HP and your level. Pretty good to me. This one's, again, this is one of those where it's just like you're about to walk into Fangtooth and you just give your entire team a shield. Pretty good. Tank items, Cursed Scroll. This is the other cursed item that we're getting. This is Stop Hitting Yourself, the item. Attack speed, double armor, HP, regen. And so your auto attacks deal damage based on your bonus HP to yourself and the enemy target. It doesn't, you don't take the damage well below 35%. For every 100 health, this isn't percent, for every 100 health that you are missing, you gain attack speed and 30% base health regen. This one, to me, so the downside of this item is that it doesn't have HP on it. But low-key, I think this item's pretty good. I actually legitimately think this item is good. Because if you think about how much you're actually autoing within a fight, and also the fact that this does physical damage to yourself, meaning, I'm assuming meaning that this is mitigated, you always have more physical armor than the person that you're hitting, right? Especially if you're building this on a tank, or even if you're just hitting the enemy mid laner or the enemy ADC. This will always do more damage to them than it is doing to you. And you have more HP to start. And you gain more attack speed and health regen as you do this. I actually think this one, low-key, might be pretty good. The base stats are not amazing on this, but if you have this and like Rapture, right? That's 2 0 power items. But like, what else would you build? Maybe you go Overlord into Cursed Scroll or something like that. I mean, that's 0 haste. I don't know what the build is gonna look like. And that's a good point. What does the build look like? Do you need the ability haste? Do you go full attack speed? Maybe you go like Basilisk Cursed Scroll Grux. Go like Bazzy Cursed Scroll Rapture on Grux or something like that. Maybe you could get a, we'll see what ends up being good. But I think this one actually might be kind of good. Moving on, Inquisition. This is a magic defense item. This is also something, a couple of the items have had this, like where's the hammer. The hammer has this, where they're actually giving us HP mana items now. Inquisition, HP and mana, which is big. We don't really have HP mana items in the game right now, so it's actually something that matters a little bit. It's more variety to have in the game. Passive, on casting an ability, you burst out a wave around you. It does damage based on your bonus HP, and does it slow? No, this one doesn't slow. It does more damage to monsters. 1 second cooldown. This is a new version of Fire Blossom. This is I mean, it's basically old Crystalline Cuirass. If you guys remember Release Crystalline Cuirass, I don't know if there's a League equivalent to this. There probably is. But, yeah, so basically every time you click a button on a 1 second cooldown, every time you use an ability, it just does damage around you. Seems pretty good to me. Decent base stats, you can go this first. It does more damage to monsters, so like in the jungle, right, you could do this for jungle clear. It'd be pretty solid. In lane, how much damage does it do? 2% bonus HP every 1 second. Plus 60 base damage. Like, this is probably pretty comparable to Fire Blossom in terms of overall DPS. So, kind of your choice. It's a magic armor item. So, if you're against another magic dealer in lane, you can go this over Fire Blossom. Seems good to me. So, I don't know. This one seems quite good. Rebirth. This is the item. They showed this one off earlier in the week. So this is like a bruiser item. When you die, after you die for a second, and it shows it's like a Zing Salt thing. After 1.75 seconds, you come back to life as a drone. If you survive 7 seconds in drone form, you res with 50% HP and mana. This is on a 4 minute cooldown. While you're a drone, this other thing, it basically says you can auto attack, but you can't use any abilities or whatever. This seems like okay. This is like, I mean, it's Realm Royale. It's being chickened in Realm Royale. I think it seems okay to me. I don't. It's just, yeah. I feel like you're gonna die more often than not. So like, cause like, right. So this is you have adjusted base stats in this form. like level 18, right? Late game. You have 1700 HP in this form. Like you're dead to 3 carry autos as a drone. Like it just doesn't seem that good to me. You actually are dead to 3 carry autos. I don't know. It doesn't seem that insane to me. It seems like it'll be really annoying to play against when it works, but like, I don't know. I feel like it's not going to work as often as you feel like it should. Transference, another, they're also doing this cool thing, right? I just talked about mana HP items. They're actually giving us more fucking double prot items, which is pretty epic. When a shield is applied to you, expires, 50% of its remaining value is restored as HP. So you heal based on the shields that fall off of you, which is pretty good. Reduced if the shield was applied by an ally, so Muriel, right? You're only healing for 25% of your Muriel shield. WoW shielded, gain move speed and 10% increased armor. This one is like pretty straightforward, pretty good base stats. It's a tank item, right? This isn't like a bruiser item. It has no power on it. It does have heal and shield power on it. It's like on a character like Quang, I think this will be pretty good. On a character, I heard some people saying Steel, because as Steel, your passive gives you a shield. So you just gain 12% movement speed as long as you have your passive shield on Steel, which is funny. I don't know if it's worth it, but it is pretty funny. I don't know who else you'd build this on. Maybe Richter. Like, Richter has some shields in his kit. I just don't think it's worth it. You're never getting value out of this on Richter, and you're also not getting value out of this on Richter, right? Because both of your shields cause you to stand still. This 10% armor, yeah, that's pretty nice. I just don't know if it's worth it. I'm not sure who else you build this on. If you have a Muriel on your team, you'll probably build this as a tank. Seems pretty good if you have a Muriel on your team. If you don't, I feel like Quang, like tank Quang is maybe what you're building this on. Vainglory, another double prot item. Upon taking or dealing hero damage, you gain a stack of Vanity. Each stack increases your armors by 0.5% up to 10. And while you're at max stacks, your armor's increased by an additional 10%. So basically, if you stay in combat is essentially what this says, right? Dealing or taking hero damage. If you just stay in combat with an enemy hero after, what is this, a 0.5 second cooldown? So after 5 seconds, you basically just gain 15% increased prots. If you're in combat with someone for 5 seconds, you gain 15% increased protections. This one seems pretty good to me. I think generally speaking, this will be a better version of Catalytic Drive. I think this is pretty much just better Cat Drive. Cat Drive is also, right, Cat Drive's 15% increased armor, I think. It just seems like it's the same thing, except this is a better item. So I don't know why you'd go Cat Drive over this, but yeah, this one seems good. Systems. World Shift. We talked about World Shift earlier. Shields. Fixed a large issue with shields where the first shield applied to a target would remove its original full shield value once it timed out, even if it was damaged, meaning subsequent shields that were layered on top would be partially removed. Okay. Hero balance. All right. Hero balance. Argus. Move speed increased. Disintegrate his passive buffed a little bit. Dread Nova. His stun speed increased a little bit. Cooldown decreased. Very cool. Bale. Cursed Edge, his Q gets a damage buff. Interesting. Gets another damage buff. Feng Mao. Hamstring, Feng Mao E gets a bit of a base damage buff and a little bit of a scaling buff. Interesting. I think this character's pretty good. So, well, I guess I don't know. He fell off a little bit compared to a character like Kalari, but little buff for Feng Mao. Grim.exe, his Q, small base damage increase, cooldown a little longer rank 1, but a little shorter rank 5. Energy shield is bubble, a little bit shorter cooldown late game. Kalari, critical damage from her augment decreased a little bit. Crippling dagger, damage taken down a tiny bit, cooldown going up a tiny bit. Keep in mind, right, like we saw Alternator earlier. That item's going to be giga broken on Kalari, so I do not mind them nerfing her in advance of that, because that item's going to be insane. Chimera. Health regen, what is this? This is a little higher late game. Very cool. Oh, no, it's decreasing. Okay, never mind. It's a little lower. It's going the other way. A little less health regen late game. Unleash his Q, half a second added to the cooldown, a little less cleave damage, ultimate plus 5 seconds, very cool. Bellica, broken champ, by the way. Wait, this is a good change. Hold up. This is a good change. Her auto executes at minions at a lower threshold now. That is a good change. Good job, whoever came up with that. That is a good change. This stops a lot of Bellica's really gross early lane pressure. Because she doesn't get to execute every minion at giga broken levels. You just get to, you have to actually auto minions now. That's a good change. Void Bomb, damage goes down by 5, cooldown goes up by half a second. Neural Disruptor, her ultimate, little less base damage, a little less scaling. Now deals percentage of the target's missing HP when damaging manaless heroes. So hitting Eden does missing HP. It does execute damage against Eden rather than caring about her missing mana. Origesh. Hive gets 40 damage added to the ability. That is a lot. 40 base damage. 10% scaling on Swarm, and alternate her mark damage increased by 20 late game. Cool. Mourn, quality of life on his passive damage frame adjusted to better match the animation, making it feel more responsive. Cool. Basic attack a damage. Ooh. Reading. His normal autos also get the damage adjusted. Burial, less shield on her right click, very cool. Sereth, a little less base stats. Her Q goes up by 1 second all ranks. Her jump loses 20 base damage, very epic. Skylar now executes minions at 60% of the normal execute threshold. Okay. Again, another good change. These are good changes. Like, they took away the dot damage executing minions. Now they're doing this. This is good. This makes it so that beam heroes, right? I'm assuming this is applied to Eden, right? So Eden's ranged auto is a beam attack. I'm assuming it's applied to that as well, where it doesn't execute at the normal threshold. But these are good changes. Terra, more damage on her Q, more scaling. Really big Terra buffs, actually. Mine, this hits 3 times. That's a pretty big buff. TB, more power, more damage on his passive, more attack speed on his passive. Very cool. Wukong, less HP. Somersault, his double jump, a little bit of longer cooldown. Yin, physical power growth increased. Lash kick has a longer slow, and backlash does a little more damage on a slightly shorter cooldown. Very cool. Xeris, evade, his dash no longer grants excessive momentum while used falling downwards. Dude, this ability is so funny. This is such a goofy little ability right now, because you can launch yourself like halfway across the lane. It is so funny. 2 seconds added to this cooldown, by the way. Crazy. Spear of Near, his right click loses some damage, loses some scaling, loses some bonus damage, and gains a second on the cooldown. Some pretty big Xeris nerfs. He needs them. This character is broken. Item balance. Curious, can Eden be played as jungle? You could play Eden jungle. The issue is you would have to take your stance switch level 1. You spawn in ranged stance. Ruthless Broadsword. Less damage, less power, but more armor shred. Interesting. Less on, okay. Eviscerator, bug fix, Ashbringer. Yeah. So they're changing Ashbringer. They're reducing Ashbringer by quite a bit, but they make it more powerful on when you critical strike. So that seems pretty good. It only also Chrono Strikes only trigger once per ability. I'm pretty sure that means that characters like Boris or Twin Blast, right? Like Twin Blast Q on a wave or Boris dash on a wave. I'm pretty sure that means you won't just instantly get your fucking ability back like you used to, which kind of stinky. But this is slightly better for like actual ADCs. Dust Devil, cost decrease, Spectra, more damage. Viper gets the same treatment as Basilisk, more armor shred. Augmentation, less power, more attack speed. Bazzi, again, same thing. Earthshaker, more power, less attack speed. Muty, Devour only applies once per ability. What is hitting more than once? Ramp Terra. Yeah, Terra Q. TB Q must proc this multiple times. Feng Mao E procs twice. This probably also takes it off of Boris Dash. Boris Dash procs this like fucking 9 times or some ungodly thing that it will not do anymore. Overlord, less power, more HP, very cool. Caustica, mana regen added. Whoa. Magnify, less HP. New passive, damaging an enemy hero with ability damage shreds their armor by 6%, stacking up to 5 times. That's good. Good. This is better. This is significantly better. You lose 50 HP for this, but this is a significantly better passive. What up, Faye? But yeah, this is a significantly better passive on characters like Quang, Aurora, even Sev, Origesh. This is pretty good. Megacosm with enemy hero with ability damage. Okay. Megacosm, a little bit of extra bonus damage on Mega. Amir, 25 HP. Cresselia gets plus 5 power. Moonblade cooldown refund, reduced again. Bummer. They hate letting mid laners build cool items. Everbloom cost reduced. Lunaria haste down. Brusilver, less cost, less power, more heal and shield power. Very cool. Void Conduit, cheaper, slightly better. Warp Stream, recipe changed. Cool. Cat Drive, healing on Cat Drive reduced. Cyber Drive, healing reduced. Bonus armors reduced. Yeah, so that item that I said was a better version of Cat Drive is definitely a better version of Cat Drive now. Because it just straight up gives more armor. So, yeah. What is this? Tainted Guard does less damage. Bug fixes. Okay. Nice. Patch notes done. The actual like balance change patch notes are not that crazy. It's just all the new items plus new champion stuff. You think Yin Bunny bug will be fixed? I do not think it will be fixed, Twill. It would be quite epic if it was, but my guess is that it will not be. Considering it's been in the game for 3 months, it will not be. Why'd they buff Drongo? They didn't buff Drongo. Drongo is literally not here. And Countess visual bug, another one that again has only been in the game for like 8 months. I wouldn't expect it to be fixed, Twill. Mori actually got some pretty big buffs, Taylor. Greystone didn't get touched. Again, right, so the actual, in a patch like this, where we're getting 28 new items, or whatever this is, 24 tier 3 items plus 8 crests, right? The actual numbers changes to heroes actually don't matter that much, right? Like, not a huge amount. Like, Mori got 40 damage added to Hive, right? She got 10% scaling increase. She got 20 damage added to Mark. Like, these are pretty big buffs for a character like Morigesh. But, right, like in a patch like this, it really does come down to, you know, things like which of the new items are broken and who uses them best. You know, it's a lot less of this champ got numbers buffed, which makes it much better than it was before. Like, yes, but also there's a bunch of new shit here.